next important feature is demographic condition. So under this we are going to study about census, theory of demographic transition, demographic profile of India, poor qualitative aspect. First, census. India's first official census operation was undertaken in the year 1881. It was a positive contribution of the British. After that, the census had been conducted after every 10 years. It involves a detailed estimation of population size along with a complete demographic profile of the country. The next is the theory of demographic transition. The theory of demographic transition is the latest and the widely accomplished theory among economists. It was formulated by Frank Notestein. The demographic transition theory postulates three distinct stages in population growth and economic development. The first stage, it is a stage of high birth and death rate and a consequent stable population level. And the second stage is the stage of high birth rate and a declining death rate and a consequent high growth rate of population, which may be aptly termed as population explosion. And third stage is the stage of low birth rate and death rate and a consequent low growth rate of population. Demographic profile of India. During the British rule, India was under the second stage, that is high birth rate and low death rate. So India was the second stage of demographic transition with high birth rate and low death rate, and hence facing the problem of population explosion. And next is the poor qualitative aspect. Even qualitative aspect of the population was not so encouraging. That is, first one is high infant mortality rate. So infant mortality rate during the independence was high as 218 per thousand. Mass illiteracy. Average literacy rate was less than 16.5. Only 7% of the women were literate. And low life expectancy. Life expectancy was as low as for 32 years, indicating poor health facilities. The next, mass poverty and low standard of living. 80 to 90% of people spend their earnings on basic needs. 52% of the population was living below poverty line. Some parts of India were facing famine-like conditions. Next is the occupational structure. Occupational structure is defined as the distribution of workforce of a country amongst different sections. The second is the distribution of working population during that period. That is, nearly 70 to 75% of India's working population was involved in agriculture sector. Only 10% was engaged with manufacturing sector, and 15 to 20% were with service sector during that period. The next is the regional variation. So this regional variation in occupational structure had been growing. In states like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Karnataka, which is called as Madras Presidency at that time, were facing a decline in the dependence of workforce on agriculture, while there had been an increase in the share of workforce in agriculture in Orissa, Rajasthan and Punjab. It should be useful for public, but it also remained all through inadequate during that period. Now let me conclude the chapter. It is quite true that British had no interest in developing India. They just wished to use India as a feeder economy to serve the economic growth of Britain. It is clear from the growth rate of per capita income, that is 0.5% per annum, and the primitive agriculture and underdeveloped industrial base. The needs of the growing population were completely ignored. There was really scarcity of educational and health facilities. They rather ruined Indian economy for their own advantages. They did develop some selected areas of infrastructure, but their intention were not to develop India but to serve their selfish motives. They did so because they never felt India as their own country. They ruled here but never belonged to this country.